Alright, this is my first day / interaction with Atlas. He's a Mustang from Triple B, Nevada, and he is 2 years old. So I brought him home, I believe the 2 days before this. I picked him up in South Carolina and I bought him on the internet adoption. And he was put in the round pen with my other Mustang. I got 2 of them at that adoption. And then we split them up, and the brown pen's right next to the arena. So he is out in the arena, and then my other Mustang Caster is in the round pen next to him, just because Caster was kind of bullying him a little bit, and they're easier to work with when they're separate. So all I'm doing here is just trying to get him to eat on my hand. So here I'm like bending down a little bit, and then my body position is like parallel to his. So like my hips are parallel, but like I'm not facing him straight on. So this makes me look a little bit less threatening. And then I just feel like bending down is a little bit better. So I started off, like I'm gonna allow him to walk here. So I would just put a little bit of pressure by like waving that little hay there. And then I got his hindquarters to come, like same thing here. So I'm just kind of, he's getting a horsefly. So I'm just kind of putting a tad bit of pressure on him and then just kind of stepping in front and seeing if I can catch his eye, like right here. So I sped up a few parts of this video because it gets a little slow. But I'm just doing a little approach and retreat. So I'm doing a little bit of pressure, which is me like waving my hand or just stepping toward him. And then I step back away from him when he comes toward me. And these Mustangs don't take very much pressure. So that's why I'm not chasing him with a stick or anything. He doesn't require that. Just me facing him is enough pressure, or me being near him really. So here I'm trying to just put a little pressure on his hind legs, and then there I caught his eye, back up, and then just offer them the hay, and then I'm having my body turn to the side. Just seemed like he was a little bit better with that. It doesn't look as assertive as straight on. And the previous day I had him, he was in the round pen with Caster, and I just kneeled down, sat on the ground, and fed him some hay through the fence. So I think just kind of leaning down a little bit helps too. Make me look a little less threatening. So he grabbed the hay and he's a little afraid, so he wants to grab and then just leave really quickly, which is fine. I just put a little pressure on there and say, hey, can you stay facing me? Because we have to remember that this is a very scary thing for them. They're not being naughty or bad or disrespectful or any of those things. He's genuinely scared. So I don't want to put very much pressure. This is the maximum amount of pressure that I want to put on one. So he's in the corner here. I had my camera up on the fence and you can't really see, but he's just kind of turning himself away from me in the corner and kind of looking out, so you can see me just raising my hand up and putting a little bit of pressure. And then he's facing me. I waited for him, and then he was just kind of licking his leg and getting the flies off. So I just kind of waited there. And then when he faces me, I back up and just give him space. I want to draw him toward me, just like that. But I do like that he's coming up to me. He's curious about me. There is other hay on the ground here because he does live out here, which he's munching on now, but he is curious enough to come eat out of my hand, which is good. So just a little pressure here. That's all the pressure he needs, see? And he'll turn right back. So when he's side on to me, I just kind of stand there and wait, and then I'll kind of get in front of him, get in front of the drive line, which is in front of the front legs, and try and catch his eye. And then when he looks at me, I'll just try and back up, like right there. And licking and chewing is good, so he's kind of letting go of some tension there, and he walks up to me. So the bugs are really bad. It is August in North Carolina. It's pretty intense, but he is wild. I can't touch him, so he's gonna have bugs on him. So it's just part of the deal. He's a wild horse. So if you see him pushing his tail and stuff, that's what's going on. But this is just the very beginning process, is just seeing if I can get him to eat from my hand, because I like to do a lot of positive reinforcement, and he needs that positive reinforcement is food. I obviously do use negative reinforcement, which is pressure and release, which is right here. I pressured him a little bit and then released when he faced me. And then I'm still doing positive reinforcement, which is when he comes toward me, he gets some hay. He always has hay offered to him. I'm not starving him and only letting him eat from my hand. That's not how it works. He has the hay available to him, but I want him to come and be curious, and that's the opposite of fear. So, but the first day I got him, the day before this, he was on the other side of the fence. We just stood there and hung out, and I sat down and fed him hay. And then the day before is when I got him, and I just let them be, because I know the whole experience for them is very traumatic. So I want to go nice and easy. I want them trained, but I'm not going to push them. So I want to really read into his body language there, like when he grabbed that, and then he's turning his front legs away and his shoulders away. He wants to grab it, but he's also afraid, and just my presence is pressuring him, and that's why he's leaving like that. But I like that he keeps coming back. Even if he's not grabbing it out of my hand, like he's coming back and eating the hay that's close to me, which is good. Just little baby steps is what we're looking for. I might lean a little bit and see if he can, yeah, just get some on my hand. Very good. But when he's eating out of my hand, I just want to stay there and just be still as much as possible. He's still very weary of my presence. And I don't want to do any movements until he's left. So then I'll be like, okay, then I'll move a little bit and kind of just put a little pressure on him. But I don't want to be feeding him hay and then try and like move my hand really quickly to touch him. Like that's just going to scare him. And all this is about building confidence. So again, he's in this corner again, and he's just kind of ignoring me. He'll be like looking out the fence and just kind of turning away from me. So I'm just putting a little pressure on him until he faces, and then I'll just stand like this until he does something else. And if he gets a little stuck, I'll just pop some on the ground there. If your horse doesn't want to come up to, like if you have a Mustang or just a horse that's untouchable at the moment, or just one you want to bond with, if they don't really want to come up to you, just kind of tossing some hay toward them is a good like step between those two steps of him eating out of your hand. And I'm trying to get a decent size amount in my hand. So I have a hay flake in my left hand, and then I have a big handful, because just him like barely grazing my fingers scares him. So I want him just comfortable with my presence, comfortable eating just the hay, not touching me. No touching is involved. And all those little steps will build gradually. So once he's cool with me being near him, he's not trying to leave nearly as much, then we'll move on to just him eating more out of my hand and less me throwing on the ground, and then smaller handfuls of me handing it to him, so he gently like touches my hands gradually, and then he can just have like a small treat, and then he can just eat out of my hand. But it is a process. It depends on your horse. But I don't want to rush any of that and scare them. I want that bond to stay there. So if he wants to leave, that's okay. But he's thoughtful about leaving. Like he just kind of moves his front end, and then he kind of moves his whole body. He's not running scared in a way, which is really quite nice. I think my arena is, I think it's some odd number, like 120 by 140 or something. But that's what he's out in right now. So he could be anywhere. He could be in the back corner, but he chooses to be up here, which is pretty cool. I know not all of them like that. Some of them are definitely more fearful than others. Some will be in the back corner. For one like that, I would definitely set them up for success and put them in a smaller pen. It does help though that Castor's on the other side of this fence, so they can touch each other and everything. He's in the round pen right on the other side, so that also is helping me. He wants to be near Castor, so I have that draw built in already. So I worked with him, I think this is about 20 minutes, and I sped it up for most of the video and just try to work on building a connection with him and spending some time with him. And that's really all you're going to need to do in the beginning here until they really figure out that you're not going to hurt them. See this nice sideways position I have, and I'm just kind of stepping over there gradually. So I didn't want to put too much pressure on him. He had some good turns and faces, and he was really good for his first session, so I just kind of end on a good note and give him a lot of hay.